Okay, how do we get to the end of this meeting?
That's kind of what I was just saying. Thank you, Ted. So what else do we need? What do we need to
Take
do?
out 60 grand.
Make those numbers equal 0 and say that's what our target is.
Yeah, if the sewer needs to be 15, then put it at 15. We need
can't
to
sugarcoat it.
break even. Well, we're pulling the scab. I'm sorry, but
Well, I think 15 is excessive.
you think?
I think so.
Yeah. But okay, so then here's the conversation then. If the true cost, I'm just saying, the true cost of a water system was an extra 16 or 17 or whatever. We have people that have just water, we got people with just sewer, and we have people with water and sewer. The people with just water are paying for people with sewer, are paying the rates. Now, there is the thought of we are a municipality and it all is the cost of coverage to make this operate and run. So there is a certain amount that is just gonna have to come into the black hole of baby water and sewer. I hate to say it that way, but in terms of water, sewer, which way it goes, it's just coming into baby water and sewer. Unless we're gonna put a product out that if you're gonna hook up and you have water, you're gonna get water. You're gonna hook up and have a product in sewer, it's gonna be sewer. I want sewer customers to just be paying for their sewer service, but to do that at this point, we're saying that we're gonna have to charge sewer too much. So then that means water, people with just water will be paying for for the sewer. And it is what it is.
Yeah, and currently.
I don't want that, I don't like that, and I wish we could get away from it, but what do you do?
And I can't remember the last time that anything was put into the sewer capital facilities fund, and,
We've been robbing to haul the big Peter.
yeah, something like that, but, yeah, then you just think about, one disaster away, but, so when you apply that across historical figures and really trying to get an idea of where you guys are, you know that you don't want to increase too much and put too much strain on the customers. So yeah, just is using your best to get as close to that with knowing that the projects coming up, the repairs needed, and even just putting the smallest amount into a capital facilities for event of emergency. We have about 108 left in our O&M to draw down from Cape Horn. Yeah, I think how we get out of this meeting is to agree on a reasonable rate.
Well, we don't do it all in one
It's
year.
gonna answer all those.
We can have a plan to do it over 2 years. Maybe you need to take a strong bite the first year. I can go down there at all. And I'll work on these numbers a little bit, take that 60,000 out. Try to get the right number per year. But it still comes back to about $6 for water and 12 for sewer. I can't get away from that very easily.
60,000 out on the expense side for the water hookup costs. Well, to do that, you'll want to take the actual cost for each year and take
Right.
that instead of just 60,000 across the
No,
board.
you can't do 60 a year.
Because this
Okay.
last fiscal year was not even 10.
So taking that out drops it $7. So in that model, if you put in, say, $14 with just 2 in the rate increase, yeah, put 14 in there. That may be more than maybe 12. And then the result, you start looking more reasonable down there. But then you get to take $7 out of that $12 increase, at least for the 1 year. So then it'd be in the $5 or $6 range and then next year, I think, we have to take a strong look at it early and see what it's actually doing to us and, but I think we should look at modest rate increases every year instead of waiting
Oh, yeah.
10 and 12 years to do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's a 1 or 2, 2 or 3% increase. I mean, if you just take a 3% increase for the last 11 and a half years, it just about doubles the rate.
And that's just
It's
a
a big
fact.
number.
That's just a fact you can do yourself on.
And some of these last few years have been, in the 10% cost increase rate. The last several years have been 10% each year. And that's just, it's the reason we all have less money in our pocketbook.
Ted, what do you got? What are you thinking?
Well, yeah, I'm water, some of us, I do pay a water bill to Bayview, but we have 5 places. We've got 4 other places that I don't pay, we still pay a water bill. And I think it's running about $300 a year, so it's not free. But, you're right, we haven't increased water rates or sewer rates, even though we got a $8 increase
To help pay for the loan.
to cover the SRF funding. But that isn't an increase.
All right, not the operations, it wasn't. Cal, big job. Hey, it's gonna improve water pressure over on this side of it. It's gonna improve reliability from an electrical standpoint, because we have generators and things like that. And it's hopefully gonna lower our costs for electricity, because maybe we won't be pumping so much water twice.
Yeah.
Well, none of our expenses are gonna go down with all this improvement.
Yeah, I think some of the electrical will go down from pumping, maybe we'll pump less water, but we have more controls that are all electric. And
Yeah, you've got more,
we complicated the system too, so
yes,
trying to get people better service.
right, and it's required, and they need it, and they deserve it. I'm not saying that at all. We shouldn't be running a substandard water district.
For part of the district.
Right.
So my water pressure and volume was always perfect,
Yeah.
because the whole system was designed for my house.
Yes.
It's the only house in
Well, we
Bayview,
need the water production plant at your house, the very first coming in, the great water quality.
because I'm the only one at the original Farragut elevation.
That's right.
Everybody else is a compromise.
I agree, and it probably is best to do it in two increments, and that's kind of why I said the $10 last time. Anyways, knowing that once we wrap up our construction and we have a final amount that we're looking at, that we'll know exactly what the payments are gonna be.
Yeah, and that's neat, because that goes out 30 years.
Yeah.
And that'll be a constant.
The 10 and the 5 that show up there right now are kind of, as much as I was against the 5, I was hoping to keep it at 2, it's just not gonna happen. The 10 and 5 are low reasonable numbers, but they're not gonna cover it unless something else changes. We're gonna have to make another change next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be in the messaging, right? Because
I would agree. I remember
it's not
going
going
to
for
the
another 10 more
meetings,
years, that's for sure.
and we were told about the LID and adding that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember discussing, obviously the rates will go up when we know, or I should say, it wasn't said that way, but when the construction is over and we know how much the exact loan is for, that'll go out 30 years and then we'll know our rate.
Mhm.
Which then everybody agrees, okay, we're all gonna then pay our share. Okay,
Yep.
so that's that. But now we're just talking about budget, keeping ourselves
Yeah.
operating.
We're.
I know you want every penny you can get.
No, I just would like us to keep our head above water.
We don't like being underwater.
No,
Now that a snorkel.
I mean, when we have an emergency and we have no funds to deal with it.
Obviously, now you're bent
Okay.
over a barrel and you put yourself there.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're talking some pretty significant increases.
And that's what's so uncomfortable with it, because they are. And even if people know that it's coming, they're still gonna not.
Heck, he's ended up being, say, 36 for sewer and 30 for water plus the $8,
Yeah.
which we already know is going to go to around 12, 10 or 12.
Yeah.
You know,
When it's all
depends
said
on
and
how
done.
those loans and things work out. Do we need a motion or just a suggestion? We're at 10 and 12, we're at
Yeah.
12 and
They
6
will
right
make a
now?
motion.
We're at 12 and 6
Motion?
on your spreadsheet? Oh, you're at 10 and 5.
10 and 5.
Are you 10 and 12 on your spreadsheet?
10 and 5.
10 and 5. I'd make a motion to 12 and 6, but I'm open.
I would second that. I think 12 and 6 is better than 10 and 5. It's more, I fear not having the resources to pull ourselves through something when,
So was that a motion?
I made a
Well,
motion.
when I
And
second
he
it.
seconded it.
You're the chair.
I don't know, all in favor?
He can.
Aye.
I-
He has to
City
call,
council.
he has to call the
It's just-
vote.
I call the
Just
motion, yeah, call the vote.
like that.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
That would be a recommendation for the budget hearing.
that is the
Can
recommendation.
change after that.
Yes,
So we're looking at 12 and 6.
12 and 6.
I'm gonna work on it some more.
Yes, and I'll
See how it
send,
works out.
I'll make a couple of the minor edits and stuff, but I will send out the PowerPoint and this spreadsheet for you guys to work around with.
Maybe this will
I'm
get us
going-
another member on the board. People are like, hey, I'm doing that stuff.
I didn't wanna put any of the current fiscal year's numbers into this one because they weren't audited and doing with the rate increase, but I can see putting them in there to establish a budget and using this.
And
as
just
a
say
tool for-
non-audited.
Yeah, exactly, and using it as a tool for budget purposes, I didn't wanna do that for the rate increase
Yeah, right,
presentation.
right.
But I'll include those numbers in there as well, so that you guys can start to work with those. And then, eliminating the expenses for the water hookup section, so. But yeah, just feel free to work with it and definitely come to me with any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions if you have. We wanna make sure that we're covering everything, thinking about everything, being as accurate as possible, so.
Slightly different issue, but during the budget presentation, Jessie has making a nice PowerPoint for her part of it. I don't think the whole presentation should fall on Jessie.
I agree. We should.
One of the board members should introduce it and run the meeting. And
That would be a little different than we've done in the past, which would take some off of you. But this is a board issue. This is a board thing that we should, I think, show our personalized concern for it.
I don't think we all need a slide. Don't get me wrong here. I think the board should run the meeting, the hearing.